esteemed Assistant Minister of Higher Education, Government of Republic of Serbia, Professor Aleksandar Jovic, esteemed Vice Rectors, Marko Gutelj from University of East Sarajevo, Kristina Pantelic from University of Banja Luka, esteemed Vice President of International Federation of Physical Education and Sports, Professor Yuri Balint, esteemed Deans, Professor Ljubiša Lilić, University of Pristina in Kosovska Mitrovica, University of Niš, Professor Milovan Bratić, University of East Sarajevo, University of East Sarajevo, Professor Borislav Cicović, University of Skopje, Professor Vlatko Nedeljkovski, Professor of Galaci, University of Galaci, Professor Talagil Laurenciu Gabriel, University of Veliko Trnovo, Professor Svetoslav Stefanov, esteemed professors, esteemed colleagues, esteemed President of Association Sports and International Sports for All, Serbia, Professor Branko Vujović, esteemed President of Union University, Bojan Sekulić, dear colleagues, dear students, dear guests, on behalf of the Physical Education and Sport Faculty of the University of Pristina, I would like to welcome you to the 11th International Conference Anthropological and Theanthropological Views on Physical Activities. In our 11 years of existence and scientific work, we have hosted more than 70 top invited speakers from 35 countries, with a total almost 800 scientific publications. On this conference, we have 285 participants. Of course, that would not have been possible without you, our dear guests from Serbia, region, and Europe. I would like to thank you, our co-organizers from the Republic of Srpska, University of East Sarajevo, with whom we have established cooperation in all fields, making teachers, societies, and speakers from those faculties always welcome guests. I would also like to thank our co-organizers, the Faculty of Sport and Physical Education, University of Niš, who selflessly help us make this conference of this quality by providing professors from these faculties every year. On these occasions, I would like to especially thank Federation for Physical Education and Sport for recognizing the common interest not only in the organization of this international conference, which is becoming recognizable in the region, but also in the organization of scientific, professional, and educational work. Dear colleagues, distinguished professors, distinguished doctoral students, we sincerely hope that the 11th conference will take place and all of you are welcome guests on Kopaonik, in the heart of Serbia, and as always, you are make sure to be good host. It's my pleasure to thank you to Association for Sport for All Serbia, and Director and President Branko Vujović, thank you for help and during to all 11 years of this conference. For the first time, the part of this conference is Erasmus Plus Blended Intensive Program. We have guests from 5 different countries, from Democritus University in Komotini, Greece, dear students and dear Professor Kalos Irfate. Thank you and welcome for our guests and professors, students from St. Cyril and St. Methodius University of Veliko Tarnovo, Bulgaria. Dobre došli. Thank you for students and professors from National University of Science and Technology, Polytechnica Bucharest, with Pitești University Center, Romania. Welcome. Thank you for and welcome our students and professors, our colleagues from University of Almeria, Spain. And of course, thank you for students and professors from University of Niš and University of Pristina in Kosovska Mitrovica. Thank you for your attention. Okay, now I invite Assistant Minister of Education in Government of Republic of Serbia, Professor Aleksandar Jović, to give us small speech.
Dear Dean Lilić, dear Professor Stanković, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to have opportunity in behalf of the Ministry of Education of the Republic of Serbia to welcome you here in Serbia and to welcome you at the 11th International Conference, Scientific Conference that is organized by Faculty of Sport and Physical Education, University of Pristina, temporary state in Kosovska Mitrovica, with all other partners of this faculty. It is also my pleasure to greet you in the name of the Minister of Education, Professor Slavica Đukić-Dejanović. I think that this conference is a great opportunity for our scientific community in the field of sports and physical education to discuss with the colleagues from all around the world. In the previous 10 years, Government of the Republic of Serbia with the Ministry of Education, Science and Technological Development, and now in the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Science and Technological Development, done great and significant steps to reform of education and scientific community and system, research system in Serbia. In previous 2 and 3 years, the Government of the Republic of Serbia adopted a number of strategic documents in the field of education and also in the field of science. And please allow me to continue my speech in Serbian due to our protocol in the Serbian government. Uvaženi profesore Liliću, uvaženi profesore Stankoviću, poštovani rektori, prorektori, dekani, prodekani, uvaženi profesori, uvaženi studenti, dame i gospodo. Zadovoljstvo mi je da vas pozdravim ispred Ministarstva prosvete Republike Srbije i ministarke profesor dr. Slavice Đukić-Dejanović. Ovakve konferencije prilika su da stručnjaci iz naše zemlje razmenjuju iskustva, znanja i prakse sa kolegama širom sveta. Tradicija koju ova konferencija ima da već 11 godina uspešno organizujete zajedno sa partnerima ne samo iz Srbije, već iz regiona, zajedničku međunarodnu konferenciju, pokazuje posvećenost fakulteta razvoju ne samo obrazovne, već i naučne delatnosti. I verujem da bi i veći u smislu broja nastavnika i studenta mogli da vam pozavide na onome što su vaši naučni rezultati, vaši profesionalni, naučni, obrazovni rezultati. Imajući u vidu situaciju u kojoj posluje univerzitet u Prištini sa privremenim sedištem u Kosovskoj Mitrovici i svi njegovi fakulteti, uspesi koje ovaj univerzitet i njegovi fakulteti postižu moraju se smatrati duplo veći, najmanje duplo veći. I zato kada pogledate rezultate ostalih, recimo, fakulteta iz vaših oblasti i njihovu naučnu produkciju, vi ne da ne zaostajete za njima u tom broju, vi zapravo prednjačite. A kad pogledate vašu međunarodnu saradnju, to je ono čime morate da budete ponosni i zbog toga mi je jako drago što je ova konferencija spoj ne samo onoga što je nauka i ne samo naučna konferencija, već spoj sa onom što je Erasmus, a Erasmus je tu pre svega zbog reforme visokog obrazovanja, ali i sa onim delom koje je zapravo stručno osposobljavanja profesionalaca u oblasti sporta i fizičkog vaspitanja. Čestitam vam na odličnoj organizaciji ovog skupa i želim vam još mnogo uspešnih godina i mnogo uspešnih konferenciji, da ovo bude samo jedna u nizu međunarodnih konferencija koje vaš fakultet organizuje. Siguran sam da ćete biti veliki i dobri domaćini svojim gostima iz inostranstva i siguran sam da će diskusije u naredna 2 dana doprineti daljem razvoju kako nauke, ali tako i onog obrazovnog dela visokog obrazovanja u oblasti sporta i fizičkog vaspitanja. Hvala vam.
Thank you, Assistant Minister. Now I invite Vice Rector of University of East Sarajevo, Professor Dr. Marko Gutalj, to give us small speech.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, dear friends, it's a great pleasure to be here with you at the mountain of Koponik and to speak to this honorable conference anthropogenical and theanthropogenical views of physical activity. First of all, I would like to greet you and to express my gratitude on behalf of the rector of the University of East Sarajevo, Professor Dr. Milan Kulic and his team. And also I would like to say that our University of East Sarajevo, is one of our priorities or strategic goals is supporting such important scientific meetings as this one. I also would like to wish many thanks to all the faculties of physical education and sport, which were involved in organization of such an honorable scientific conference, and of course many thanks to other organizations from the field of sport that supported these honorable meetings. But my special thanks I would like to gratitude to all the participants of this conference, especially for those participants who came from abroad to be here with us at the mountain of Koponik. When I see you all together here, I'm pretty sure that this conference will bring a lot of contribution to the scientific field of physical education and sport. And at the end, I would like to hope that this meeting will bring a professional and personal benefit to all participants. And of course, I would like to, at the end to wish you fruitful discussions and to wish you to spend very good time at the mountain of Koponik. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Rector. Now I invite Europe Vice President of International Federation of Physical Education and Sport, Professor Yuri Balint.
I try to be more shortly. Mr. President of the conference, honorated presidium, dear colleagues, dear participants, dear students, I am grateful to those who have decided to honor us today with the presence at this international conference organized by the 5 or 6 faculty from your country. Meaning not only the contribution of this, but also for the efforts and merits of the members from organizing committee, special to Verko Lubstankovic, my friend Verko, can I say? The chairman of this conference. Congratulations again. I believe that the presence of the many personalities of our domain present today in this hall is stimulating us at the same time to strengthen the support that the organization that I am representing today, it grants to the promotion of physical education on an international level. I would like to thank Professor Branislav Antala, FIEPS World Vice President, to Dario Novak, FIEPS Euro President, special to Professor Nenad Zivanovic, one of the most important physical education personalities from all the world, and special to our colleagues present here as guests from Serbia and from abroad. Finally, I invite you to participate in all scientific manifestations organized by the physical education faculties, being sure that have a high scientific level and with the hope of developing new interinstitutional and not least interhuman relation. Thank you and welcome to our conference.
Thank you, Professor Balint. Now, I invite President of Association Sport for All Serbia, Professor Branko Vujic, to give us a speech.
Uvaženi pomoćniče ministra, gospodine Jović, uvaženi dekanu, gospodine Lilić, dragi i uvaženi dekani, rektori, prorektori, uvaženi profesori, posebna mi je čast i zadovoljstvo da vas danas pozdravim u ime Asocijacije Sport za sve Srbije. Ja moram da kažem da se u ovoj ulozi osjećam na neki način i kao domaćin, s obzirom da Asocijacija sporta za sve Srbije i Fakultet sporta i fizičkog vaspitanja u Leposaviću već veliki niz godina zajedno organizujemo ovaj veliki sportski festival, ali i naučnu konferenciju. U prilog tome želim samo da kažem da Asocijacija Sport za sve Srbije kroz misiju Aktivna Srbija 2030 definiše obrazovanje kao jednu od ključnih tačaka naše misije i verujemo zaista da i realizacijom ove konferencije dajemo doprinos u unapređenju sporta za sve i sporta u funkciji zdravlja. Ono što također želim da podelim sa vama je da je ovogodišnji 31. festival sporta za sve pod pokroviteljstvom Ministarstva sporta Republike Srbije, Olimpijskog komiteta Republike Srbije i Sportskog saveza Republike Srbije, da također imamo u okviru ovog festivala realizaciju 2 međunarodna projekta, sastanke za 2 međunarodna projekta Erasmus Plus programa, čime dajemo na neki način doprinos afirmaciji i realizaciji projekata kada je ova tema u pitanju. Želim na kraju da vas sve pozdravim, da vas pozovem da uzmete učešće u festivalu sporta za sve, da budete aktivni i da provedete lepo vreme na Kopaoniku. Hvala još jednom našim domaćinima i srećan rad.
Now I have a big pleasure to invite maybe the best professor in my life who I met ever, Professor Nenad Živanović from University of Niš, President of FIEPS Serbia.
Thank you, dear Professor Stanković. Ladies and gentlemen, guests, dear colleagues and friends, braćo i sestre. I'm really glad that on behalf of the big FIEP family in Serbia and on behalf the FIEP Europe section for History of Physical Education and Sport, I can greet you all. As you know, dear friends, and I hope that you know, our FIEP association celebrate its 100th birthday last year. Last year were organized a lot of different and interesting activities, seminars, conferences, congresses. But for us, one of the most important celebrations was organized in Galata. Galata is the nice and old city in Romania. Galata on the coast of the Danube River, maybe 10 kilometers from abroad with Ukraine. In Galata was organized World and European Congress of FIEPS, organized, designed, and implemented by one very important person, our Vice President, and our guest and colleague and friend, dear Professor Balint. Thank you, Professor Balint, for this World and European Congress in Galata.
And Mr. Dean is present from Galata.
Thank you. In this context, I would like to say that this evening, with this conference, we are taking our first professional step and starting the work that await many new generations of FIEPS in the next 100 years, which ahead of us. Also, as a president of FIEP Europe section of Physical Education and Sport, I want to greet members of this section, Professor Kristina Pantelic-Babic, young and charming lady in front of us, our delegate from Republic Srpska, and at the same time, Vice Rector of University in Banja Luka. And our dear colleagues, friends from Spain and delegates from Spain, Professors Francisco Pradas and Carlos Castellare. Also, and of course, I wish to greet all of you, and I wish you all the best in your professional and private life. And finally, to these wishes and greetings, I add most important thing tonight. This conference is open and can start working. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, the part of our conference is Erasmus Blended Intensity Program, Leisure Time, Sport Activities and Science. And one of the goals of our Blended Intensity Program is organization of inclusive sports even in winter outdoor conditions. And in accordance with the goals of Blended Intensity Program, I invite the lecturer Bojan Jorgic to present his paper.
Good evening. Estimate representative of Ministry of Education, Deputy Ministry, Professor Alexander Jovic, dear representatives of Faculty of Sport and Physical Education, and our host, Professor Dean and Professor Ljubiša Lilić, and Vice Dean Professor Veroljub Stanković, also dear representatives of International Federation of Physical Education and Sport for All, and dear representatives of universities and faculties of sport and physical education, rectors, vice rector, deans and vice deans from Balkan and Europe country, and also dear representatives of Open Ceremony program. I am very pleasant, and it's my honor to share with you knowledge about inclusion, and especially about models of inclusion in physical activity. Today in the modern world, our modern society have four main type how we look people with disabilities. We have exclusion, segregation, integration, and the last inclusion, like something which everyone said is the best way how we have to care. Okay, the best way how we have to care about people with disabilities. If we say that inclusion is the best way, and if we want to see what is inclusion, there is a lot of different terms, but if we really want quality inclusion, that inclusion has to start from the beginning. That means that you have to start from kindergarten, then to go from primary school, secondary school, faculty, and it has to be the part for children with disabilities and also for children without disabilities. And inclusion has to be part of different or various life domains of people with and without disabilities. That means that inclusion has to be part of working place, of leisure time, and also the part of physical activity. In that way, only that way we will have quality inclusion, and this kind of inclusion can involve social and psychological acceptance. Inclusion in physical activity also have different definition, but we can say that inclusion in physical activity is defined as the opportunity for individuals with disability, irrespective of their motor or physical, psychological, or social abilities and skills, to participate in the same activity with people without disability, with individual support and attention at the level which they need it. Inclusion in physical activity can be the part of team and individual sport, like in athletic, like you can see on this picture. People with and without disabilities can run together. That can be the part of some team sport, like wheelchair basketball or sitting volleyball. Inclusion has to be part of physical education and also the part of recreational physical activity. There is four main types of inclusion in physical activity. First one is adaptive activities. Second one is parallel activities, then reverse integration, and at the end, separate activities. And all of them make this inclusive spectrum. First, adapted activities means that all participants have to be engaged in the same physical activity or sport, but with adapted rules or equipment to accommodate everyone's abilities. What is example of this? Example of this can be playing basketball with lowered basketball hoop, or we can change some rules, so we don't use rules like double dribble, or the time of attack can be more than 24 minutes, and so on. The second method or model of inclusion in physical activity, it is parallel activities. There also we have that participants with disabilities and without disabilities are engaged in the same activity, but on their own ability levels. What that means? That means that we have to divide participants in homogenized groups, and what can be example of that? If we have physical education class, and on that class we have some children with disabilities, we can divide all children in some groups, and if we work on the passing the ball, some of them will passing the ball directly from the chest, like in basketball. Some of them will pass the ball bouncing from the floor, and some of them will pass the ball only by throwing. But in this, if you do this, all the participants, so all the children in one classroom will play together. you will not have some children with disability who will just sit and just look what's happened and in the class of physical education. Third model is reverse integration. This model is maybe the best one. In this model, people without disabilities play the Paralympic sports. What that means? That means if we have sitting volleyball, that means if on physical education class, if they work on volleyball, one day teacher can say, okay, today we will work on sitting volleyball because in our classroom we have one child or two who cannot run, who cannot stand. Maybe they don't have a leg or they use wheelchair, and we will play sitting basketball. Another example is wheelchair basketball. That means the children all together can play it. And we have goalball, table tennis, and bocce. If we use this model of inclusion, this model improves attitudes towards people with disabilities and towards sports for people with disabilities, and also this model improves self-esteem of people with disabilities. Table tennis is also a good example. In our city, our students from Faculty of Sport and Physical Education in Niš play table tennis together with people with disabilities in table tennis club NICE, and they make inclusion and help them to achieve their best results. And the least model of inclusion, which is not real inclusion, it is separate activities. This model means that participants or athletes are the part of the same sport club, but they not play and train together. What that means, if you maybe have some volleyball club, and in that volleyball club you have section for standard volleyball and section for sitting volleyball, so the players from each section use the same equipment. That means use the same balls, use the same nets, use the same sport field, but they don't play or train together. If we really want a good inclusion in physical activity, it is we have to use good adaptation strategy. Adaptation strategy means we have to adapt equipment and props. That means that we have to use various balls or goals. Example, if we have blind children in our class or in some sport club, if we throw him the ball, he will never pick up or catch the ball because he don't see the ball. But if we use the ball with bells inside, this is much more possibility that he will be included and play with the other students in the classroom. That adaptation strategy means that we have to adapt rules and tasks, like how to hitting the ball, how to shooting the ball. Then we have to adapt instruction. Will we use physical or visual or verbal guidance? And in the end, we have to adapt playing field, example, size of the field, type of the surface, and so on. Adaptation strategy also need from us to keep the basic characteristics of physical activities and games in inclusion settings. What that means, in the first picture, you can see swimmers, and in the first line is the swimmer who don't have both legs and don't have one arms. So you can see the basic characteristic of swimming are the same. So start for the crawl, breaststroke or butterfly is the same like the next swimmer who have both legs and who doesn't have only one arms, or for the swimmer who is not people with disability. So basic characteristics, we always have to try to keep the same basic characteristic on the level which it is possible. Also, activities and games have to be in accordance with the development period of that participants. And like you see on the second picture, activities and games have to enable interaction between people with and people without disabilities. This short, because the time, short knowledge about models of inclusion, it's not comes only from theory, from the book or from the scientific paper. It also comes for our practical works and from our experience. I'm saying about practical works without students at Faculty of Sport and Physical Education in Niš. We have two main subjects. One is one we call adapted physical exercise. On that subjects, we work our students on practical lesson, work with children with various type of disabilities like autism spectrum disorder, intellectual disability, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, paraplegia, quadriplegia, muscle dystrophy, and so on. And we always try to make inclusion settings. That means that our students are not only coaches or trainer for that children, we try for them to be their peers, like in the school. And our subjects, the name of other subject is Sport for People with Disabilities. On that subjects, our students learn sports like is sitting volleyball, like is wheelchair basketball, table tennis for people with disabilities, judo for people with disabilities, then swimming for people with disability, and so on. And in that way, they are directly involved and learn how to be trainer in that Paralympic sports, and also they play together with our sports without athletes with disabilities in their clubs. In that way, we foster this inclusion. Award for our work, it is one award which we get from the European Union. It is the picture from our big project, and from all this what we done, our faculty do normally a lot of projects, but project in adapted physical activities, this is one which we finish. The name of project is Adapted Physical Activity and Sport for Youth. It is the part of Inter-Equipa program, cross-border cooperation between Bulgaria and Serbia. And the outcomes of that project was first, more than 15 young unemployed person from Niš learn how to do swimming and physical fitness for people with disabilities. And second outcome is this, you can see it on the left, our training book, where everyone can see the exercise and games for people with disabilities when we talk about swimming and when we talk about fitness. And you can download it on these internet pages. It is translated on Serbian language, English language, and also on Bulgarian language. And also now we're working on one project. The name of that project is Inclusion Reload. Is the project of 8 organizations from 4 countries, Portugalia or Portuguese, then Italy, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Serbia. And I can say it is fresh. We also have one inclusion book, this manual methodologies for inclusive sport, which is also translated on Serbian language, English language, Italian, Portuguese language, and you can use it from this internet page. There you have about 40 sport games and exercise for children with disabilities in the different settings. And for the end, if you have a question, it is inclusion in physical activities possible? Maybe you can see this picture. This child in the wheelchair, maybe some professor will put that child to the corner and say, be there, 45 minutes is the physical education class, and go to another. But you can see that this teacher want to include that child in the physical activity, so he do something that is better than do nothing. Also, you can see the better example. This is the young guy who play standard basketball, but he don't have one arm. I hope you can see the television screen is very big. So you can see they don't have one leg, but he play normally basketball with the other guys. So this is one also example. You can see here one child who also don't have one leg but play basketball. And some answer for me can be yes, inclusion in physical activity, yes, it is possible. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Jogic. I must introduce myself for beginning. Professor Verko asked me to be there. I'm also a professor of physical education. Actually, now I'm retired. My basic is recreation, and I cooperate with a lot of impressive professors in the first line. It's nice to be with you again. I like to provocate you to discuss. It's a very nice presentation. You invest a lot of energy and you produce a very nice systematic approach. I have comments only about the two topics. Maybe when you said that group together, maybe it's better to be a group same time, because they are together in the same place, but they are nothing together. Maybe it's better to be
same time.
Same time.
Yes.
And also the last group separate. Maybe it's better to be parallel, because they play parallel two match. One sitting volleyball, the other is normal volleyball. They are not actually they are separate, but they play activity on the parallel, like.
Yes, if they have a big sport hall, they can play parallel. But if it's sport hall like in most situations in our country, it is only one court in the sport hall. They cannot play parallel.
Yes, it's okay. And 10 years ago, I think in Athletic Europe Championship, somewhere in the Nordic area, they organized very interesting competition, because it was one race, the people in wheelchair, and the second race was the normal athletic. It's a very good way, because the Paralympic sportsmen have a full auditorium.
Yes.
That is not usual.
Yes. There is in Malmö, in Sweden.
Yes.
Every second year they have some kind of Scandinavia Paralympic Games. Maybe that was the part of that
For me, it's a very good example
Yes.
of how it can work on that. And please, we're waiting for your question and you discussing about very important topic. Please.
Yes, very, very interesting, the topic.
Thank you.
And the conference. I have a question about your opinion about the balance between the financial resource is necessary, economic support, and between the learn of the technical, the men of technicals for this person, for the importance of the financial support and technical information.
Thank you very much for your questions. If we talk about a higher level of performance, yes, they need a lot of things. There is very expensive sport. Example, in basketball, in wheelchair basketball, one good wheelchair with good performance, it is more than €800, and you have 12 players, so you can think how much money you need. But on the on the low level, it is necessary and it is not expensive. I can tell you on our example, every students who play some sport like judo or play volleyball or maybe play basketball, They know the rules, they know how to do that, and they need very much things to do to be good to start to do these sports with people with disabilities. So at the beginning is not so expensive. Also example is now Bosnia and Herzegovina in swimming. They have very good swimmer who are maybe 12 years old, who are in the first 10 in the European and World Championship in swimming.
Please, we have also one comment in the first line.
Do we have some special activities for blind people? Because you mentioned volleyball.
Yes.
And I'm coming from Turkey, and my colleague, lecturer Mahmut Karakolukçu, is here. He is the national team volleyball trainer, our Turkish national team. What's your activities about volleyball?
Okay. Thank you for your questions. In Niš, we have also one global team. This is global team NICE. They have 4 players, and when they prepare for some tournaments, they have training with our students. So they play together, they have blindfolders, and they play together. About tournaments, they have tournaments mostly in North Macedonia, in Bosnia, in Serbia, and I think you know that before, in later 1980, Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, were the Paralympic champion, world champion in the goalball 2 or 3 times. But then comes the war and everybody goes on their side. So our global club play with our students, they train with our students. Also in Serbia, we have some national championship, but there is also 5 or 6 teams, and it is allowed to 1 or 2 players to be people without disabilities. It means people who are not blind to play, because there is enough people who want to play goalball. Thank you. I want also to say that, yes, inclusion is not always easy to do it. It is also it is about type of disability. So it is not every. It is hard sometimes to do sport with every disabilities, but if you try, you can find the way.
Thank you. We have one.
One more.
We have one more comment, and we finish after that. Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations for your presentation.
Thank you, Colin.
Very interesting. I think about sometimes the normal people have inspiration of this person with disability. I use, for example, in judo, exercise with blind
Yes.
with very, very good results. When we put this person near this exercise, I think it's very powerful
Yes.
this person.
Yes. Thank you, Pa. This is something with which judo players, like you said, also use. They put the blinds for the calisthenic, for the better better feeling of the other judokans. So yes, it is used in sometimes their training routine.
Thank you, Professor Jorgic.
Thank you.